There are very few movies that have made me cry. The Passion of the Christ is one of them. Never have I felt such a visceral response caused by a movie, and I'm not alone. Many others feel the same. Yet sometimes this film is dismissed as anti-Christian, brutally violent, or even horror. It's the most controversial film in the past 20 years, but people still keep calling it one of the greatest love stories ever filmed. If this is a movie about love, why am I horrified? I first saw this film when I was 14 years old, but I walked away unchanged. It was all noise to me. The violence, the dialogue, even the source material. I didn't understand why it was controversial or why so many people's lives changed after watching it. But more than 5 years later, I rewatched The Passion for the second time. Suddenly, at 19 years old, the movie finally clicked. And after that, I couldn't go back to who I was before. Few movies have changed my life, but this movie completely shifted my perspective. I think it's time we revisited this film. The film opens with Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. This is the scene that sets the stage. Immediately, we feel that something is off. The music carries a low hum of dread. The lighting is a sickening blue, and the shadows are crushed. There is nothing to help us distinguish between what is a shadow and what is a demon. Unlike many other movies, The Passion doesn't have a ton of themes. Instead of a bunch of threads being woven together simultaneously, the film cuts through the noise and forces you to sit in silence as the story unfolds. Without saying a word, without anything even happening yet, we instinctually feel that this is no ordinary film. It carries weight. The tone is heavy. The camera moves to where Jesus is praying. He is in such mental pain and physical stress that his sweat literally becomes blood. Jesus is preparing himself for what's about to begin. It's a striking and ominous beginning, but what's most striking is what the film shows us next. Jesus is about to be betrayed. Foreshadowing can be hard to pull off, but this film does it with finesse. We turn to see the disciples in the garden, standing watch as Jesus prays, but their eyelids droop and their bodies slump over, exhausted to the point of sleep. Little did they know what was about to happen. Satan confronts Jesus, taunting him. The pieces of silver solidifying his betrayal are being exchanged as we speak. He is about to be led like a sheep to the slaughter. For us to get to the actual violence, we need to talk about the way this film utilizes tension. If we simply skipped the foreshadowing, the most pivotal scenes in the film would lose their impact. We now turn to Jesus, who, knowing what is to come, gives himself over to the authorities without struggle. The anticipation lingers, the tension is pulled tight, until, like a rubber band, it's at the brink of snapping. Eventually, it does. This film is the result of a tortured mind. A man known for films such as Braveheart or The Patriot. In the early 90s, Gibson struggled with drunkenness, often spiraling into depression. Through this, he meditated on Jesus' last 12 hours. It pulled him through. That's why he made The Passion. Mel Gibson himself said the movie holds back a bit, but it's painfully close. Even though scripture doesn't go into exhaustive detail, it's very clear that the crucifixion wasn't a PG experience. Most Christian filmmakers genuinely believe a forced gospel message makes a good story. But without a story, there's no message to tell. That's why The Passion has made history while others have collected dust. The beautiful scenery we do see is sparsely used in the film, just enough to give us time to reflect, and it only makes the heavy scenes hit harder. We often live on two extremes. Either violence is absolutely necessary to convey meaning, or it's of the world and not pure enough for Christian media. But what if the violence is necessary for the film to succeed at all? In fact, what if I told you that without it, this film would be meaningless?
I wanted it to be shocking. I wanted it to push the viewer over the edge.
Even though this film is not explicitly horror, it competes on a similar level, and it does so in a disturbingly personal way. Satan and the dark forces of evil are constantly lingering in the shadows. Something you feel more than see. Satan's appearance is one I will never forget. It chilled me to the bone. This film is full of horrific imagery, and it transports us into the experience in a way no other films have. I've received numerous warnings in the comments saying it's gore porn or gratuitous violence, and I thought so too, until I reflected on why it was there in the first place. This film isn't a candy-coated montage. It lingers on every uncomfortable moment possible. And this is where I started to get stuck. Is it right to be watching something so violent? I mean, I'm a Christian. Violence is wrong. But to answer that question, we need to go to the source. Judges 19 verse 29. A man cuts up his dead concubine and sends her remains throughout the land. It's actually a lot worse than that. Passages like that make me super uncomfortable, but there's a purpose. The violent narrative is not meant to be enjoyed. If that's the case, there must be another reason. And that's when I started thinking, maybe we're meant to feel the pain so we can grow. This film forces you to see the truth. Every shot, every swing of the hammer, it forces us to pay attention. The scourging, the crown of thorns, carrying the cross, all of it carries a weight you can't shake. And it's this pain that broke me. My eyes were opened. The weight came crashing down onto my soul. I was not watching a movie. I was watching a man be slaughtered, yet inexplicably still be overflowing with love. I couldn't hold back tears. It shattered my world. He bore the pain, yet forgave his aggressors. His eyes were full of love. And it was then, as I watched Jesus carrying the cross, bloodied and beaten, that I realized it should have been me. We live in a world full of hate. You only need to look at social media or in our friend groups. This movie forced me to look in the mirror, and what I saw troubled me. Take Judas. He was one of Jesus' 12 disciples. He was close to Jesus, yet he betrayed him over 30 pieces of silver. Greed and even bitterness drew him to betray, and demons tormented him until despair and self-hate drew him to suicide. As I watched this film, I realized that we too have become cynical, bitter from the constant betrayal of friends, opportunities, and the world. The question is, what will you do about it? As Jesus carried the cross, that's when I broke, and yet I love this film. And why do so many people say the same thing? I watched this film as a skeptical 19-year-old, but after I sat in silence wondering what the implications were, but I still hadn't changed. There was one more thing I had to do.
I think it pushes one over the edge so that they see the enormity of that sacrifice.
I don't like pain, but it's kind of like taking a cold shower. Your first instinct is to flinch, but if you stay, your body adapts and you become stronger.
Oh, that's cold.
That's how it feels to watch this film. We're now at the point where Jesus is in the final leg of his journey. Soon Jesus will be crucified on a hill named Golgotha, which, when translated, means the place of skulls. Jesus makes the march with a shaky yet determined step, while hate is spewed all around him. He was nearly at his destination. This film rends your heart to pieces, only to heal them back, like pottery that was broken, then made new with gold. The nails ring out as Jesus bears the pain, and as the cross was lifted up, it dawned on me. By giving himself up, Christ cut off the head of the snake. The hate that has so devastated the world was being washed away before my very eyes. That's when it clicked for me. Maybe I can embody that love too. That's when I truly changed. This is proof that sometimes horrifying imagery is the best way to convey difficult themes.